This podcast is a collection of past and new friendships that I've had the honor and privilege of journeying with in this life. We've shared moments of laughter, challenges, and triumphs that should be documented and recorded for the world to see and hear. So, my prayer is that this pod is relatable, authentic, and encouraging to all who watch or listen. Enjoy the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is episode 9 of Barr+Friends. Known this brother, and yes, I do call him my brother, known him for 2 weeks, y'all. But I felt like I've known him my entire life. I give you the king of New York City, the owner of Seek Coffee, El Presidente. Let me stop. Ladies and gentlemen, Pedro. What's going on, man? How are you?
My brother, what a nice introduction, man. Jeez, man, I feel so. The energy just flowing through me, man. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and it just feels like we've known each other for a decade.
Bro.
That's beautiful. That connection.
For sure, man. How you feeling? How you living? Good?
Hey, blessed every day.
Woo.
Feeling good. Thankful and grateful. That's it. I try to just keep a balance between, with a thin line between getting too excited and just keeping it in the middle.
Yeah, that balance, bro.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's
Yeah.
up. Give us the journey of how this whole concept of Seek Coffee came to be.
So the idea came about 2 years ago,
Okay.
right? I split up from a 10-year relationship. So I caught myself, just having a lot of alone time, right? So I was in Astoria. My wife now, we had two, she was working during the day. So I was just by myself most of the time. So she would just tell me, just go to a coffee shop, go right, go figure yourself out, go do what you have to do, get yourself right. I was like, all right, whatever. It was never into coffee. I
Right.
was like, all right, whatever. So I started just bouncing from different coffee shops to different coffee shops, and I just caught the vibe. It was just like, man, like the energy when you go into a coffee shop and you could literally just be excluded from the world and just really tap into your inner self and just dissect yourself and come up with the greatest ideas, because literally, like, that's one of the times when you just have alone time to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it just came to mind. I was like, I think it would be pretty dope to open up my own spot and bring a vibe and an ambiance where I could give that to others, right? But then I had a hiccup where it's like, I can't tell what's a good cup of coffee from a bad one. So it's just like, I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to tell what's a good product.
Right.
But then my lady over here, she's an expert in coffee. So that right there combined it, where it was like, I think we caught off to something.
Wow.
That's where the whole concept idea came. Wrote it down in a notebook and fell asleep on it for a little bit until last year. Things just starting to get hot. Like, me
Right.
and her were just getting like a whole bunch of like messages. Yeah, they're selling a coffee shop here, coffee shop there. These signs just kept coming up. Like, hold up. I think that's the universe, trying to let us know that, the time is coming. So we literally just executed on it, man. We said we were gonna do it, and we just, just went right through it.
I'll never forget this day. I saw a Instagram post from your sister. She was making a latte, and I mentioned in the comments. I said, "Oh, can I get one of those today?" And it was either you or your wife.
That was probably my wife.
She says, "Yeah, you can come by today for free and get it for free." And I'm like, "Oh, say less." And let me tell you this. When you tell a black person
I had a
to
feeling
come,
you were. Trust me.
I was there. And when I first came in, Pedro, I was like, wow, like the vibe, just the artwork, your wife and her friendliness. I'm like, I knew instantly, I'm like, this is it.
And that was the whole idea with this. And the thing is with this location and this setup is, as soon as you walk in, you feel the love and the vibe and the energy. Because honestly, like, we put this whole thing together, and it was basically just friends and family. So from the artwork, from any kind of design you have, with specific individuals who are good at what they do and take pride to perfect their craft. So that's when you come in here, you feel that energy and that love, because it was just a whole bunch of different pieces, and at
Mm,
the end, it was just all put together. So it's like I had my mother involved, my sister, my brothers, friends, you know everyone, friends
wow.
from my wife's side, everything just collide, and it was just everyone specifically, because we're very precise, like what I told you from the beginning, we're very precise with who we involve ourselves with, you
Right.
know so that's the number one thing I look for, whoever I let in into my energy and my circle, you know so starting here, when we first inquired this place, we started jotting down, who do we need, who do we want, and why, and what kind of energy we want to inquire into this. We want people who are just as thorough and pride and take pride in their craft. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh
So
yeah.
that's why you feel that here as soon as you walk in. Because
Man.
it was just everything was just made and put together with so much love. Like honestly,
Oh man.
even though it was a headache, even not a headache, but I mean, like,
Right.
because at first everything just looked so crazy, and you have this image, you have this idea because it's here, and then your duty is to try to make the idea come alive.
Right.
And then it's like, how the hell are we gonna get this going? We have 2 weeks, 1 week, and it's like you're running around here, she's running around here, you're bumping heads, the arguments, and it's like, yo, we need, and then all of a sudden, it's like, wow. Once you sit back and you soak things up, you're like, holy smoke. It's
Wow.
just like, wow, we did it. Everyone did it, you know. And that's why, like I appreciate everyone who came in here and did what they had to do to make this vision come alive. You know,
That's amazing, bro.
this is not a one man show. This was a group, which you see here.
How does it feel to have a dream of yours come alive?
In the beginning, I used to get very, very excited about things. You know what I'm trying to say? So I used to just shoot up with excitement, ride that wave long as possible. And then once the real life hits you, boom, you realize that it's not what it seems to be like,
Right.
or what a lot of people on social media make it seem like. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's when the crashing comes on. You're like, wait, this is not what it's. I'm supposed to feel fulfilled. I'm supposed to have this energy inside me where I'm never gonna feel sad. I'm never gonna feel this or that. So
Right.
where I'm at now in my point in my life, I'm just honestly thankful and grateful that I've been able to get here. But I move on and I take it day by day. So my excitement is within the day, the connections that I have with people, and I end it there. And then the next day, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth. So I just don't want to ride that wave anymore of excitement. Oh, I did it, walk around like this, like that, because I know it's going to come crashing down. Because that's how it was in the past with multiple things where, when I first acquired my first property, it was
Right.
the same thing. You know, I gave myself a pat in the back, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm on top of the world," but then it's like I wasn't getting no recognition from no one. I was still felt the same. I still felt low. With a low frequent energy, and I was like, "What's going on? I'm not supposed to feel like this. I have multiple properties. I have multiple businesses. I have money. I'm going well, and why do I still feel empty? Because I was always putting all my happiness on the external world. So I had to learn that the hard way. So I don't. I honestly just, it's kind of weird. It's kind of what I told you earlier. I try to keep it balanced. I don't get too excited. I don't get too low. I keep it right in the middle. Whatever life throws at me, I take it how it is and let it go. Just keep moving forward.
When you told me earlier how you had a plan or an idea for your life at the age of 10, it kind of brought me back to my childhood because they say that what you find yourself doing at a young age, like that is kind of what you evolve to being when you get older. And so for me, it was always um listening to music, It was always, getting, outside of my patio and acting like I'm talking to a congregation, like I was in a church. So, being spiritual, being a preacher. So I can totally relate when you said, you had an idea. You had a knowing inside of you when you were young that this is what I want to do and what I want to be. And for me, I think that that is so dope because for so many years, and I'm sure that you can agree to this, that, and you even mentioned this earlier, that we just get caught up with what other people's expectations
Yeah.
are for our life,
Yeah.
and we get so imprisoned
Yeah.
to that lifestyle, to what they want to do, until you kind of just have to break the chain or the cycle and be like, no, like this is what
Yeah.
I want to do. Like my heart or just the rhythm of my life is just, it's just different. And you know, I can respect that. And it's hard. It is so hard to try to fulfill a dream. Of course, you have the Lord, you have, your lovely wife and family, but it's like I'm sure that it came there were some challenges along the way. If you can share, like, what were those challenges when you were trying to do things, that you feel like God has called you to do? What were some challenges that you kind of faced along the way to getting
Um,
here?
Honestly, like the biggest challenges that I had was it had everything to do with self, with myself.
Mm,
Like honestly, like I was my biggest obstacle. I was my biggest
mm,
enemy, like 100%. I had to figure myself out to get to this point. And it's crazy because everything was internal. Everything, everything. Like all my roadblocks was just from my mindset, from the way I was thinking, and not fully believing in what I wanted to do. Because this is the thing. Everyone could talk a good one. It's like what you said the other day. We all have a canvas. We're gonna paint whatever we want to show. But behind that
yes.
canvas, what's the real deal.
Right.
If you're giving it 110% in what you're trying to pursue. And then when things don't go right, what do we tend to do? We tend to blame this, that, out there, but we're never willing to look inside the mirror and be like, are we actually going 110%? So the first challenge was literally looking at myself in the mirror and be like, no, you could do a lot better, a lot better. It's not going to be easy, but you could do a lot better. And it was tough. It was tough to be self-critic, and it was tough to just look at myself. I was like, because it's like it was hard for me to look at myself in the mirror for a while because I wasn't really living in my truth, you know?
Right.
So I wouldn't even want to look at my reflection. I'm like, damn, that's not the real me, that's a mask I'm putting, you know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
So once I let those shackles go, once I fully accepted, finally after so many years, I fully accepted God's challenge and that seed that He planted in me. I said, you know what? Taking everything off, and I'm starting with myself first. You haven't been at your best. You haven't. So I had to literally go down a scale and just literally bullet points. You got to work on this. You got to fix this. You got to work on this. You got to fix this. You know. So for me, honestly, that was my biggest challenge. It wasn't honest. That's just for me, from my experience. You know what I'm trying to say? Because from that came more, you know, clarity in my life. From there I was able to be more thorough with my choices and my decision, to lead me into a better path. And I couldn't get there being all foggy and being 50-50. You know what I'm trying to say? So in my journey, I feel like myself. I was that was the biggest challenge. And once I dissected myself and figured myself out, that's when things started evolving to better. We're talking about self-image here. For a very long time, you know, I was how can I say it? I was always waiting for something to happen for me to start,
Yes.
for me to start like
Right.
like
Mm-hmm.
being more controlled, being
Right.
more, a person who takes action. I was always like, oh, I'm gonna wait till I have this X amount of dollars. I'm gonna wait till I have this car. I'm gonna wait till I have that. I'm gonna wait till I have the big house. I'm gonna wait till I'm fit. I'm gonna wait till I'm this. And it was always waiting,
Tell him,
always,
P. Tell
always,
him.
always, always waiting, and I was never doing, you know, till a good friend of mine. Shout out to Jason. We have good conversations at the gym all the time, and I can't really remember things sometimes. He told me about he was reading a book. He's like, the way you know, the way you make that image that you have, because we all have a self image. We all want to become something. You know, we all seek out that image every single day, but we hold ourselves back because we wait for, oh, I'm gonna wait until I have the big podcast or this or the big stage to become that. My friend Jason said, listen, the way you create that is you start walking accordingly to who you want to become every second of the day. So that hit me hard. That hit me hard. So I had to go home like, okay, Pete, you want to be, the stand-up guy. You want to be this controlled guy. You want to be this guy who doesn't get rocked or shook by anyone. And I'm preaching this. You want to be well balanced. You want to be good in business. And I'm preaching this to you, to people in life. And I was like, what are you really doing?
Right.
Are you really taking actions? You know? So it's like, you know what? Like I said, back to self-image. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna wait till I have this. I'm gonna start doing it without nothing now. You know? So that as soon as I started walking accordingly to who I've always wanted to become, man, my life has changed. Cause now I'm doing it now. You know, I wake up, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and then I just filter myself like, okay, in every situation, I don't get it right every time. That's the thing that I want people to understand. I There's still things that I need to work on. And I don't think I will ever fully be able to master it because that's what makes us human. It's just we're not perfect. But the fact that I'm self aware of the fact that I criticize myself, like criticize myself and be like, I went wrong there and there and I could fix it tomorrow, you know? And that's what now I do and I choose to do, you know?
We will never get it right until we get or we transition into, um, well, in our case, heaven.
Yeah.
Because that is the true perfection. But here on earth, we're just learning. Um, I heard not a quote, but just someone just said that we until there is no breath in our lungs, we're gonna always be learning. We're gonna always be growing, and to me, P, that has I want that to just continue to be a reminder in my life that I haven't arrived. Even if I get a nice car, or even if I get, the new wife and the kids, I'm always going to, I always am going to be in a state of bettering myself. What is a definition of a man, and what are your actions? What are your daily actions on fulfilling your manhood?
First of all, I don't think I will ever be able to fulfill my manhood because it's like you said earlier, we never stop growing. We never stop bettering ourselves
Mm,
because once you think like that, you're done. You're done. You think you've achieved perfection, and there's no such thing down here. You know, so that's why I told you earlier. I take it day by day. I don't have an arrival. I don't have a destination. I don't. You know, because I'm promised this moment. Tomorrow, I don't know what's in store for me. I don't know what could come and hit another pandemic. I don't know what could be cut short. I don't know nothing. So I wake up and I try to be the best man I could possibly be within 24 hours. Composed, controlled, taking actions, and taking accountability. And that's it. That is it. That's what I try to shoot for. Yeah, just a strong individual, man. That honestly, you know, that honestly stands for something and is able to teach others. You know, because where I was at in my life a few years back, trust me, I would have had a kid, I would have had a family, and I would have taught that person nothing. You know, and now where I'm at, it's like, you know, I could give that child something. You know, I could give him a reference point. You know, I could imply some good morals and good motives into that person. A few years back, I couldn't because I didn't even have that for myself. You know, and that's what I'm trying to get ready
Well,
for.
with another dope episode with another
Yes, yes,
powerful dude,
yes, yes.
Pedro. I'm gonna link all of his information down in the description below. But this was episode 9 of Bar and Friends with Pedro.
Right
Appreciate you,
on.
bro. Thank you,
Thank
man.
you. And come check us out at Sea Coffee.
That's right. Seek coffee. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right.